Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What is the most vulgar thing you've ever heard someone say? The food she cooked us was so bad I shit out a suicide note from my tapeworm. I'm picturing what the note says, howling with laughter. Well done. It says, I quit. While the worm grabs his old-timey hat and suitcase and crawls away in a huff Looney Tunes style. Tell me who is your gynecologist so I can suck his fingers. A random guy to a lady walking by in a park. Reminds me of a story my dad told me about being at a strip joint and some dirty old man yelled at one of the strippers, I'd eat the nuts out of your shit. Quote. A pretty popular one from an old coworker was, I'd eat a mile of shit to get to that ass. I hope you get reincarnated as an abortion. Quote. This had to have come through an online gaming lobby. I've never heard nastier shit in my life than the old COD and CS days. My last venture in online COD lobbies ended with me telling someone that the only reason the parents work is so they don't have to see the kid for 8 hours a day. Dude at the bar asks random girl, can I smell your pussy? Appalled, she responds, no. He replies, well, it must be your breath. Quote. A guy who was normally a nice enough dude but had a legit learning disability and likely a pretty low IQ once asked a coworker if he could smell her belly button ring. I could smell your sentence, face vomiting. Overheard a couple going at it in a car outside a pub and the young woman said, and I quote, I'm in the blood but you can have a go at me, shitter. Glasgow, Australia, but you've got the right vibe. Sounds like something out of Baby Reindeer. The CEO of the company said to an assistant, I'm going to cut off your head and fuck your throat hole, because she scheduled the conference call for the wrong day. He lost his company because of his behavior. A former coworker of mine said that to another coworker, except they said they would piss down the neck hole. They also lost the job. I mean, it's not new. It's a slight change from R. Lee Ermey in the opening boot camp scene of the movie Full Metal Jacket. The original line is, I'm going to cut off your head and shit down your neck. He has other gems such as, you look like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. And, I will skull fuck you. I would hope so, WTF. That's COD lobby talk, not workplace XD. I love that the universal flaw for anything horrible is, COD lobby talk. We've peaked as a species. I worked with a Scottish girl who had some really good ones. My favorite was how she would describe being horny as, frothing at the gash. This post has me convinced Scottish women are absolute freaks. Dated one for a while. Can confirm. Visibly disgusted by this. Whenever someone would point out something obvious, my grandfather used to say, does a hobby horse have a hickory dick, instead of, no shit. I did not spend 7 years in veterinary school to be a hickory dickory dock. Oh yes you did. As a bouncer this girl once said, well fuck me right in the ass. Her friend gasped and without missing a beat she added, with lube obviously I'm not a monster. It was more funny than vulgar IMO, but her friend was mortified. This guy at work used to say, well fuck me running. He said it one time and another guy blew him a kiss and said, start running bitch. Quote. My mum used to say, well, fuck me sideways. Had my boss tell one of my coworkers, I wish your mother knew how much of a fucking disappointment she raised. Ended up going to HR. I'm definitely gonna probably forget to start using that. My favorite fast food is KFC because I eat it then I jack off with the grease on my hands, which gives me these little pimples all over my dick that I can pop the next day and still taste the chicken. Heard in a Counter-Strike Source lobby about 15 years ago and it still haunts me. These are all pretty vulgar, but this one takes the cake for me. You win, now it's haunting me. Someone called me a penis wrinkle once. My friends and I used to say that all the time in HS in the 90s. Not firsthand, but somebody was talking about another country that has absolutely gnarly insults. Might have been some Balkan country. One the zingers was, I'll fuck the whole front row at your funeral. Another was, I hope your parents die on the way to your children's funeral. Absolute savagery. Average polite Serbian exchange of dialogue. Oh yes, Balkans. My favorite is, I'll fuck your sister on your mother's grave. She couldn't sell pussy on a troop train. Quote. Couldn't get laid in a women's prison with a handful of pardons. Some good British ones, that cunt's teeth are so crooked up she could bite a curly whirly and miss the chocolate. Oi he's so fucking daft he could fall into a bucket of tits and come up sucking his thumb. She's bubblin' at the gusset. You got a face like a smacked ass. What's a curly whirly? Bend over and I'll show ya. A chocolate-covered candy bar. https://duckduckgo.com/? Hue equals curly plus whirly and Iax equals images and ear equals images. Could chew a carrot through a letterbox. said to me, "I got braces." I was at a bus stop after my first ever night out. My friends had got a lift and left me waiting for a bus. There were these 40-ish men and one of them squeezed his water so it came out the top and splashed everywhere and said, "I wonder if she squirts like that," talking about 18 years old me. Made me feel so uncomfortable. Shit, friends. Seriously, what kind of people leaves one behind? Just go together on the bus. Wanna suck my dick and find out? Would be a hilarious thing to say for like 3 seconds because it probably wouldn't have ended well. I hope you got out of there with no additional trouble. Hotter than 2 rats fucking in a wool sock. Obligatory Ichiro https://youtube.be/gtimiko5 noi C equals cree-nhgxtps said p. I would suck a fart out of that ass and hold it in like a bong hit. This from that Dane Cook movie where he's a zookeeper or something. I heard it from a coworker, but it makes sense they did not come up with it themselves. Guy was hitting on me while I was working at a bar. He said something along the lines of, "You're so sexy, you remind me of my daughter." Was he an orange shittiest ex-president 34 count felon fuck? The only way this is not creepy is if his ex's name was daughter. Wait, even that is creepy. Asian named my DA2. Trump came into your bar. I'm gonna fuck his brother after I fuck his sister tonight and not wear a condom. Quote, he did. This is the most confusing direct statement I've ever read. I get what was going to, did happen. But there are so many other questions. There were 4 people. Dude who tried to fight my buddy. That dude's sister. That dude's brother. My buddy, he didn't fight, took a drink, fucked both of them between more drinks, then told the host to clean his sheets. Then we went to Jack in the Box and he bought me 2 bacon and egg brekkies and a whole breakfast platter. Then he proceeded to tell me how the brother gave better head but the sister could take it in the ass so well he barely needed lube. I met a girl at a party once. We hit it off and fucked in the woods. After that she was gone for a while and came back in new clothes for some reason. We went to the bathroom, she sucked my cock and we began to fuck. I told her, "Name, you get better and better every time." She slapped me across the face and told me that was her sister. None of my friends believe me, so I guess no one on Reddit will either. Your mouth is so wide, you can eat a banana sideways. Heard a kid say that to another kid at the fair. Same energy as, "I bet you eat corn the long way." Tell a buck-toothed person, "I bet you can eat corn on the cob through a picket fence." Quote. High school boys on a bus stopping by a middle school looking at the middle schooler girls to try to find pre-orders that would eventually come to the high school. That's enough internet today. This is officially my 13th reason. I had a run-in once walking home when, I'm Australian, a bunch of high schoolers year 7 to 9, I'm year 10, were making sexual remarks of a little girl walking home from primary school, maybe grade 3 to 4. I ignored it at first but eventually they said something about harassing her and one of them started walking up to her. That's where I decided to step in. They tried to fight me and tbh I was shit scared as it was a 5v1 and I'm not a fighter, but in the end they ran off. You did good. Well done. Always stand by doing the right thing. You may just have saved the kid's life because teenagers are idiots and will encourage each other to do stupid shit which may have gotten the kid raped and killed. Bomb. But the dick cheese is the best part. Said by a gay acquaintance of mine when he overheard my conversation with someone about the few merits of circumcision with my then girlfriend. I time a head out. Hi, I'm new to Reddit. How do you delete someone else's comment? Okay, time for the next thread. A precocious young field mouse named Keith used to circumcise men with his teeth. This, he did, not for leisure, nor sexual pleasure, but to access the cheese underneath. Dirtier than fingering your sister and finding your dad's wedding ring. Jesus Christ. I heard a woman say, "You gotta be fist fucking me right now." In a professional setting. During a conversation at work, a coworker mentions the neighborhood he lives in. Second coworker responds, "I didn't know you lived over there." CW1, "You didn't know I lived there." Quote. CW2, "No, your wife usually comes over to my place." Quote. CW1, "You son of a bitch, that was good, but you son of a bitch." Quote. I was working as a dishwasher at the time. My boss told me to go sweep the entryway. I sat down to take a drink and 2 guys walk out the door. Now I believe they saw me and said, "Let's fuck with this guy." Because I don't believe anyone has this conversation IRL. They walk out the door. Guy 1, and so halfway through blowing me, the fucking hooker ODs on heroin. Quote. Guy 2, "I really don't lie discussing my ex-girlfriend with you." Quote. Guy 1, "I mean I still finished, but what kind of shit is that?" And they just kept walking, I'm sitting there like what the fuck just happened? Exclamation mark. Helsing abridged reference. Watch this video at 14:23 for the reference. OMFG, it is. I've watched that too. How did I not pick that up? I once overheard an argument, in French, where the guy said something along the lines of, I facefuck your bloody sister, the fucking whore who has 2 dicks in her mouth, 2 in each hand and a line of men waiting to get the dick sucked by her shitty, worthless whore mouth. Even as an eavesdropper around the corner, my jaw dropped and I had to take 30 seconds to process what was said, only to immediately burst into a crying laughter. S1 of Deadwood, someone goes into that saloon asking for the sheriff guy and dude says, he's pickling his pecker in the pussy brine of the widow. That always stuck with me. Deadwood had so many classic vulgarities. Swearing and referring to Trixie as a loopy cunt was always my favorite. I don't quite know how to pronounce what the guy said into English and it's probably better that way. But we had this notoriously angry dude at work and he was not having a good day. He got so pissed off he slammed a door with enough force to send it rebounding straight into his nose, breaking both the door and his nose in the process. The stream of profanity that followed had so much diseases, human reproductive organs and racism in it that, were Hitler in the room with us at that moment, even Hitler would be like, brew. Make a sailor blush and send a line cook straight to confession.